Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Good to Great. This is the podcast for women wanting to take their health, mindset, and business from good to great. I'm your host, Ash. I'm an online coach. You can find more about me over on my Instagram at coachby.ashmurph. But let's jump right into today's video. I am joined today with today's podcast. We'll leave that in, that's fine. Today, I'm joined with a very special guest, someone I'm very excited to have on here and chat to you all. I've got Sophie on here. Give us your elevator pitch, couple minutes, full rundown. I want to know everything there is to know and everything that I need to know about Sophie. Hit me.
Yes, well, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Yes, my name is Sophie. I am a former registered nurse who discovered holistic health and it completely changed my life. It changed how I viewed my own body and my own way of wanting to take care of myself, but especially how I wanted to help people with their own health because working in a hospital, it was very much quote unquote sick care, not healthcare. It was treating, it was putting band-aid fixes on a lot of symptoms and essentially like people were getting body parts removed and I just think that there's a lot of work and I think it's come a long way, but what I wanted to really help people with was preventing them get into the hospital in the first place. Like how can people start to not only be more aware of how they can support their health from the inside out, but just actually enjoy the process. I think that was a really big part for me. I've been on a big health journey myself. I used to struggle a lot with skin issues, digestive issues, hormonal issues, anxiety, like you name it, I've pretty much gone through it. And so that has really fueled me I eventually became a holistic health coach. And now I am just so passionate about helping women, especially, really fall in love with wanting to be their healthiest, happiest, and hottest self. You're allowed to feel and be the hottest version of you, especially when it comes to having optimal energy. I'm not here for it's normal to be tired and, all the things. So, really helping women get better sleep, improve their energy, and just feel really excited about, who they see in the mirror and who they get to be because of the choices that they get to make.
Yes, I love this. Amazing. Okay, let's start with I heard a question on a podcast the other day, and I'm going to steal it because I actually thought, like, it just resonated with me. I was like, I love this so much. So I've written it down, and I want to ask you, what is your relationship with yourself like?
Oh, that is such a good question. It's been a journey for sure, and it's something I reflect on a lot. And I actually did like a bit of a meditation last week, and this came up. It was like getting to think about, how far you have come and the things that you have in your life now, or the characteristics and the traits that you now display, like how you at one point really wanted to have that. And so I think my relationship to myself now, I would say, is very good compared to what it used to be. I am someone who holds myself to quite a high standard. I think a lot of people would look at my routines, my rhythms, my rituals, my practices, and I'm sure you would agree. Like some people would be like, "Whoa, that's too much," or like, you do a lot to take care of yourself. But I saw like a meme the other day, and it was like, do I do too much or are you too comfortable doing too little? And I just love
Yeah.
that because I think, and I know we spoke about this on our episode of like, there is not necessarily a line, but like, there is an aspect of self-respect that has to be upheld if you do want to be your healthiest, happiest self. And so for me, that really comes down to how I value myself, my health, my energy, everything to do with my life. Um, and because of that, because of the choices I make, and look, I am not perfect. I'm not saying that I tick every box and that everything is, 100%. I don't want it to be like that. Like, it's good to have a little bit of flexibility. But because of the choices I make every day of showing up and putting myself first, that increases my self-worth, I guess, and my self-esteem because I know that I am someone that has my back. I know that I am someone that 95% of the time makes very good choices for myself. Uh, And I really love who I am. I honestly really love who I am. And it's really cool to say that because, like I said, there was times in my life where I didn't love how I showed up for myself. I didn't like the choices I made for myself. I feel like I was very quote unquote lazy and very I'm gonna say this, but like victim mindset, like everything is happening to me and it's out of my control and poor me and woe me and all the things. And because I wasn't, showing up to the standard that I could, that then reflected on my relationship with myself because I didn't trust myself. I didn't back myself. And it was simply just starting. It was a slow process, but it was starting to make better choices, but also be surrounded by better people, I guess, or like an uplifting community or, expanders that you have in your environment. So that's a long answer to your question, but I think my relationship to myself now is one that I love. I love spending time with myself. I love just like being in my own energy. And yeah, it's been a cool evolution.
Yes, I love that so much. When you've sort of touched there on discipline, I would love to chat to you more about that and a lot of things you just kind of mentioned in that little blurb. I think, yeah, we definitely have like similar viewpoints on, and even like I've done episodes in the past, like self-respect is like self-discipline is self-respect and self-love, and I love that topic as a whole. How do you think that you sort of came to that understanding? Like, is that something that you sort of built overnight, or is it like, small things over time you sort of realized, okay, like actually showing up for myself, like choosing the hard thing today is what's going to make tomorrow easier?
100%. It was incremental over time, but I feel like you get to a threshold and it's like that tipping point. It's like things have started to stack, things have started to compound, and then you kind of get on this really good trajectory. So I remember for a very long time, my like limiting belief was I'm not capable. You know how everybody has their I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, whatever. Mine was I'm not capable. And when I look back, it's just because I wasn't willing to do the actions required and get a little bit uncomfortable to then prove to myself that I could do something, which is then going to create that self-trust, which is then just going to like propel you forward even more, right? So I was just kind of stuck in this like I can't do it, yet I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even taking small steps. So I think it was definitely over time, like I said, being exposed and I guess seeing evidence first from other people and then whether it was like having a little bit of courage or like having different coaches in the past as we've worked together like and like how valuable having a coach is to just either give you that push or just kind of you get to borrow their belief, I guess. So yeah, it was definitely just knowing and again this just came with time and doing something and realizing even if it was hard, even if it was very uncomfortable, like allowing myself to sit in the discomfort and then being like, oh, I didn't die. I'm actually okay. And then
Yeah.
being like, oh, I did the thing. I did, even if it was tiny, And then from there, you kind of stack on. You're like, okay, I can do that. Let's try this. And again, it just starts to compound. And I think once you start to realize the positive effects of your choices, especially when it comes to creating more discipline with yourself, because you're starting to reap the rewards essentially, like I'm sure there's chemicals and dopamine and things being released, like you then attach a positive association with it. So, now something that's hard or something that's challenging, like I actually kind of like gravitate towards it. Like, for example, today at the gym, I am going to a new gym and they do strength training and it's like progressive overload. So you do the same thing every week, which is great. And I was the only one in the class. So it was like I could not hide. I had to do what was required, which I always do. Like I never cut corners, but I feel like this was another level. And, she gave me two options of like, do you want to do this or the harder option? And I just always choose the harder option now because I know I
Yes.
would rather try and quote unquote fail or, not be able to do it, or at least I know I gave it a go. And for me, that's creating more, I guess, self-trust within myself, or like I'd rather just choose the harder option. And if I fall backwards, that's fine. And I think we've spoken about this too when I was coaching with you. Like, I'd rather try than choose the easy option and just be like, oh, I wish that I tried the harder one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I think we did speak about that. I think even with your like squats and things, I was like
Yeah.
literally just practice failing and see what it feels
Yeah.
like. Yeah, because it seems like this big scary thing, especially things like squats and stuff in the gym. I think people think like, oh my gosh, like I'm too scared to go any heavier. But it's like, it's because you don't know what it's like to fail. Like if you just grab a bar with no weight on it and practice, what actually happens if I let that bar go and land on the safety racks? Oh my gosh, it's actually okay. Nothing happens. It just makes a bit of a bang and the world keeps spinning. It is okay, but it's like learning how to trust yourself to be able to have those like quote unquote failures. And obviously, I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, we all know like failing is like the fastest way to get anywhere. It's like how we learn, how we grow, etc. So I love that. I was there was something you said in there that I was like, I'm going to ask her about that, and now I've forgotten. But going sort of back to you coaching women, helping women, what would you say is like one of the most sort of common things that women come to you with, like symptom, if you will, that is sort of downplayed in society and seen as normal. Like I love that saying of like just because something's common does not mean it's normal. I think a lot of people have a lot more health issues than they even realize because it's just so normalized. So what would you say is like, you know, one or two things that you find women are dealing with on a day-to-day sort of basis that should not be normal but have somewhat been normalized?
Yeah. I think one of the big things is energy. And society has made us all believe that it is normal to wake up tired. It is normal to wake up needing to snooze. It is normal to wake up and needing a coffee first thing and maybe a second one and maybe a third one. It is normal to need something sweet or something to, curb that 3 p.m. slump. And it is normal to just not feel like your battery is ever 100%. And I used to believe that. I used to be like, yeah, but life is full and we've got all these things and we expend energy and all the things. And practice discernment when you're listening. Everybody has a different life phase. Whether if you're a new, like if you have a newborn, please ignore me. This doesn't relate to you, but I know that whether you are working full time, whether you are studying, whether you have whatever commitments you have on, you can go through your day from the moment you wake up and have energy until you go to sleep. Like I am a prime example of this. Like last year I trained for a marathon. I was still working like full-time hours. I was doing all the things and I maintained a very good level of energy. When I was working with you, what was my energy score every week?
Yeah, amazing.
9 out of 10 because I was like always room to improve.
Yeah.
Like that would be one thing because yeah, I think a lot of women, it's just so quote unquote normal to be tired. And I also think, and I've experienced this, we allow a baseline that we get used to, and then we adjust and we're like, yeah, my energy is fine. My energy is fine. Yeah, no, my energy is fine. Then when clients start working with me, they fill out a form, we discover, oh no, your energy could be so much better. We just allow because life happens and we're meant to not have, 10 out of 10 energy, that you just get used to it. So yeah, that would be one big thing.
Yeah, 100%. It's actually so funny you say that because I was having a conversation yesterday with a girlfriend and she was saying that she really struggles to get out of bed in the morning when the alarm goes off. And I was like, really? Like, she lives quite a healthy lifestyle. She eats a good diet. And we were sort of talking through things and I was like, how's your sleep? And I was asking her all these questions. I was like rapid fire questions at her, asking her all of these different things. And like, pretty much everything she's doing quite well. And I said to her, I was like, well, that's not normal. Like, you shouldn't struggle to get out of bed every morning. Like, stop normalizing that. Go and get your bloods done, get them analyzed. Like, something's going on. You should dig deeper into this because everything else you're doing is like optimal. Like, you shouldn't be feeling this way if that's the lifestyle and routine that you're, living in. Like, she's getting her sleep, like, everything was like, she's ticking a lot of the boxes. And I was like, no, like stop. Like she just kind of wrote it off exactly what you said and was like, oh no, like that's just the way it is. Like I've always kind of been like that. And I was like, oh no, girlfriend, no, 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 no. And it's funny, I actually have a reel that's popped off. You commented on it, and
Oh
it's got
yeah,
like 2
I get a
million views.
notification every day that because I wrote
Someone
on there
liked your
like
comment.
the
Yeah,
topic 3:30.
literally. And it's, yeah, it got like over 2 million views. And so many people were like commenting on it. Where was I going with this? I just completely lost my track of thought.
Energy and sleep.
I really don't know what I was about to say. There was some point I was linking back to make,
I love this.
and I don't
Sounds
know where it's gone. This has not happened to me before, I don't think. I really don't know. Maybe I was just gonna say like people saying, oh, I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, yeah, wake up at 5 a.m., anywhere between like 5:30, and it's like jumping out of bed, full of energy, like not full of energy. Some days, yes, not so good. But this is where I was going. Yes. So many people were commenting on that and just a lot of like feedback and even just in conversations I have in day-to-day life of people being like, oh, I wish I was a morning person. I wish I could get up early. Oh, I've never been a morning person. And I just listen to them and I'm like, no, but you don't understand. I used to be in the same boat as you. Even when I was in high school, I, as like a 12-year-old, would go to bed at like 1 a.m. Like it was so bad. And as an adult, same thing, to the point where I would have a shift starting at like 11 a.m. and I'd be asleep. Like I would get called from my work to be like, hey, where are you? You were meant to be at work 10 minutes ago. And it was like, oh, you've just woken me up. So it's like, it's not like you're predisposed, pre, I'm in my luteal phase and it's really showing.
twins.
And yeah, it's like people just have these like set beliefs of like, oh, but that wouldn't work for me, or like I'm not a morning person. It's like no one is a morning person. No one is a night owl. It is your routine and what you're doing every single day that form you into being one of those. It's not some random genetic thing that my parents aren't morning people. Like it does not matter. It's literally just like you need to reframe your mindset around it and like choose to have a new belief. Like, I'm going to be a morning person. That's that. End of discussion. Bob's your uncle. You're now a morning person. In saying that, what would you say are like your three sort of main focus areas? Like, if someone did want to wake up with more energy, become more of a morning person, what are the first three things you would look at or change?
Yeah, I love this question. And just going back to what you just said, I am a firm believer that there is no such thing as a night owl. It's just like you said, we've trained ourselves to become a night owl from, I'm going to say, like, this is a big claim, but like 95% of people that say they're a night owl, it's because you are blasted with blue light for whatever reason, whether it's TV, laptop, screens, lights, whatever it might be. So you're not actually supporting your body's natural biology, and your circadian rhythm is completely that you actually don't stimulate melatonin production until later in the evening. Therefore, you don't get sleepy till later in the evening. So, therefore, you think you're a night owl because your body's out of whack. Like,
Yes, yes,
I say that.
yes,
So,
yes.
the biggest things is your light environment. Like, this is huge. This is like the number one thing I start with clients because it can be such a small change. I mean, it can be a big change, but it also can be small, but it can make the biggest difference. So, for anyone that's listening and doesn't know what your circadian rhythm is, it's basically your 24-hour-ish, it's not completely exactly 24-hour-ish clock that governs everything that happens in our body. So we're meant to have different processes happen at different times of the day. And the way that our body knows what time it is from natural light. So think about back in the day when we weren't exposed to screens and lights and artificial light. We just had the sun to dictate our day, right? And that is the input that we were getting, and we still do. So our bodies are still very clever. That's why morning sunlight I am obsessed with. I know that you are as well, because let's say that's one of the things. It's getting morning sunlight because that's going to signal to your body and your brain that it is morning, it is daytime. When the light goes through your eyes and it goes into the senses in your brain, your body goes, okay, it's morning. I'm going to raise cortisol in a healthy way, which helps you be alert and awake. So one of the things that I get people to do is just start getting morning sunlight. It's going to shut off your melatonin. So melatonin is a hormone that helps you be sleepy. So we don't want that in the morning. If you're not getting morning sunlight, you are slowing down that process. Therefore, you're going to feel more groggy and more tired. So getting morning sunlight. But on the other end of the day, once the sun sets, that is when we are meant, quote unquote, to be in darkness. Right? In a perfect world, back in the caveman times, like all we had was a fire. I don't know what's going on if you're watching the video, but the new computers make go weird. So all we had was fire, right? We didn't have iPhones, TVs, laptops, artificial light. So this tricks our bodies. So even though it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 a.m. and nighttime, our bodies are getting a signal saying that it's midday. And so this, like I said before, is going to inhibit your melatonin production, and you need melatonin to start getting sleepy, but then to also help you fall asleep, stay asleep, have good quality sleep. So obviously we live in a world where, I'm not expecting people to just live by a fire or candlelight. Like that's just not going to happen. But there are so many things that we can do to really optimize our light environment at night. So the very first thing, when I first started learning about this, it's probably about 8 years ago, the first thing I got was the red blue blocking glasses. And I remember like the first time I wore those and I started to get sleepy straight away. I was like, whoa, this is like what it's meant to be like. So they were my first thing. That is an option for people, especially if you still do need to be on screens. If you want to watch TV, all the things, they are great. What I recommend more, if there's one, besides getting morning sunlight, if there's one change people do, it is, especially in your bedroom, just change one bulb to begin with, because a lot of the bulbs that we have, they're LED, they're full of blue light. And if people are listening to this, like I've got red lights, I've got orange lights, please check that they're legit, because there's a lot on Amazon or wherever you get them that they still have blue light in them. So you think you're in this gorgeous red light and you're just being blasted with blue light. So changing, even if it's just one bulb, it allows the your light environment to, I guess, support your body to have that optimal quote unquote darkness. Because if there's no blue light, your body's going to register, oh, it's nighttime. And what happens at nighttime? Our melatonin goes up, our sleep processes start to happen, and your body runs on its normal circadian rhythm. The thing with the light as well is there's this thing called lux. It's like the measurement of light. Before you go to sleep, like bedtime, you really want it like under 10. Leading into bedtime, you want it like 1 or 2 when you go to sleep, like very, very low. Leading into bedtime, you want it under 10. Most of our lights, like I have an app where you can check it, and most of our lights are like 40 and above. So that's just way too high. The other thing in the morning is you want it to be like really, like morning sunlight is going to, like I said, signal to your body and brain that it's time to be alert and awake. If you don't get that, you're kind of missing that first domino. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm getting light from like a light, but it's nowhere near enough. So morning sunlight, your light environment, and then I would just say really looking at the nutrition that you are giving your body, because if you're fueling it with whole foods compared to living off processed foods and sugar and caffeine and everything like that, I'm not against coffee or anything like that, but I think it's just using it intentionally. That's going to be a very big difference, right? So one of the first things that I go through with someone who is wanting to work on their energy, it's like, okay, well, what energy are you providing your body? Are you
Yeah.
fueling it with good fuel? Are you not? Um, and the other thing that we do get energy from is the sun. So just making sure, again, this ties in with your light environment. I actually had a girl recently who she's like, I don't really want to, like, she's eating really well. There's nothing really we can change with her nutrition, but she works full time in like an office. And I just suggested to her, like, if you just make sure you get morning sunlight, go and eat your lunch outside, just change one bulb in your home, just do that for the next couple of weeks, see how you feel. And she's noticed a big difference just by, yeah, optimizing her light environment. Chef's kiss, she's feeling a big difference. So that was a long answer. But morning
I love
sunlight,
it.
light environment, what you're fueling, and giving energy to your body.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to spin one of those back at you and ask another question because I struggle with this myself. What do you do when it's a gloomy day and there is no morning sunlight? Like when it's just cloudy, rainy, and I'm thinking it now, even like when I lived in the UK, I sometimes wouldn't see the sun. I'm not even joking, probably for like a month.
Yeah, I mean that does I get really impacted if the sun doesn't come out. Like I'm
Yeah.
like a sun baby. However, it is still important to get outside because even if it's sunny, even if it's cloudy, even if it's rainy, just the natural light that we are being exposed to, it's still going to make a big difference. So yes, it's very like the feeling that you get from the sun is obviously like it literally like gives you endorphins and dopamine and serotonin and everything. Like when you have the sun on your skin, it's just such a good feeling. But the
Yes.
actual like natural light is the same, whether it is sunny, cloudy, rainy. It's just getting outside, and you need to get outside. If you can't get outside, you need to open a window. It's very different coming through glass. It can actually distort it a bit and not be that great for us. So if you can open a window, that's why I always recommend to people, if you're driving, drive with the window down. Anytime you're driving, even if it's like the slightest crack, it's going to let the wavelengths of light in and do their magic.
I love that. What a good little tip. I'm going to take that on board. And I love that's literally answered my question because I've always wondered that. I'm like, if I go out, am I still getting the same effects from the natural light, even if there is no like quote unquote light? So that's amazing. I love that. So good to know. Second of all, I also want to loop back to something you just touched on super briefly, which was eating outside because I love this. Like, it is my favorite thing to pick up my bowl of whatever I'm eating, go outside. If I can get sunlight, even better. It's really annoying. My balcony has like, it's shaded pretty much all day except for my breakfast. But what are the actual benefits of that? Because I've always just done it because I feel so good doing it, but I never actually knew that that was a beneficial thing as such to do. Like, what do we get from that?
There's a couple of things. So number one, anytime you can be exposed to natural light, it is going to support everything because it's not just important to get morning sunlight. You really want to have those anchor points during the day because, again, it's just signaling to your body and brain. It's kind of like anchoring it back in to really know what time of day it is. Because for most people, we live a life where we're probably on screens, we might be in offices or buildings that have artificial light. So your body is being signaled that it's the wrong time. So eating, especially lunch outside, I think it's just such a beautiful anchor point to be like, and you don't have to be in the sun. You don't have to be in the direct sun because for a lot of people, midday sun, it's a lot. So
Yeah.
even if you're just outside, you're in the shade, you're under a tree, you're, whatever it might be, just having your body outside, your eyeballs outside, the natural light is coming in. Again, it signals to your master clock that it is midday, whatever time it is. And it can just be like, it can recalibrate. It can be like, all right, 2 hours ago, we were like being blasted with blue light from artificial light and screens. We were so confused of what time it was. But now we know, okay, the sun is up here. It's midday. This is what I'm meant to be doing. Your circadian rhythm is like one of the most underlooked health aspects, I truly believe. Like it impacts your digestion, it impacts your hormones, your metabolism, all of the things. So for a lot of people, having the best body that they can have and having great digestion, it's all going to play a part. So eating outside will help you, I guess, regulate all of those things. Another big thing, I don't know too much about this, but I have, when I've been looking it up and learning, it actually can also be a lot more beneficial for your blood sugar to eat outside. Now, again, I'm guessing it's something to do with your circadian rhythm and the pancreas's way of releasing insulin or something like that, and not being confused by the time. But I have come across that when you eat outside, it's better for your blood sugar.
I love that. All my PCOS girlies out there who struggle with their blood sugar, take note. Okay. I think that's kind of everything. I just wanted to have a chat, see where it flowed, and then go from there. Is there anything you feel like we've missed out on? Anything you want to touch on, chat about?
Oh gosh, there's so many things we could chat about, but I think at the end of the day, like, I know you're very big on this as well. It's just, I really want people, and this is such a big piece of what I do myself as a coach and the women that I work with, and this has been my journey, as I mentioned before. It's like, just really allow yourself to start to make better choices. And that can be really hard to begin with, especially if you don't have that higher level of relationship with yourself. But just start to think about, well, how does she behave? What choices does she make? Because I never used to be someone, like you said, I never was a morning person. I was the same. I would sleep in until 5 minutes before the bus came for school. And then I'd be like running to the bus, don't wait for me. And like, yeah, years ago, I would be the same. I would sleep in till 11 a.m. and I would never choose to move my body and to push myself and to, make healthy choices and everything like that. So I think, yeah, just really think about who is the healthiest, happiest, hottest version of you? How does she behave? What choices does she make? Especially for future you. That's been a big thing for me. It's like catching myself when I could easily not do something, but then I think, okay, but hang on, future Sophie would really benefit from this. Like meal prepping, for example. Like this is like, I don't enjoy doing it. I really don't enjoy doing it, but I know if I just do it, then it's just going to be done. And then future me is going to be like, I'm so grateful she did that. So I guess it's just challenging yourself to a degree and then just starting to trust the process and love the process as well. Because I think when you really prioritize your health and what makes you feel good, sometimes the actions don't feel that great, like meal prepping. It's just not a fun time for me. But the compound effect of it all is just so worth it.
I love it. And yeah, 100% agree. Like so much of your results and changing your lifestyle comes down to that identity and who you actually show up as on a day-to-day basis. It's not a matter of like, I will show up as that person when. It's like, how can I show up as them today so that I actually become that person? And as this podcast is all about, good to great. The last question I ask everyone is like, what is one piece of advice that you would give to go from good to great?
The first thing that comes to mind is hold yourself to a higher standard. And don't be
Mm,
afraid to even be better than you think that you can. Because I think
yes.
going from good to great, it is going from that level of like, a lot of people are good. A lot of people are ticking the boxes. A lot of people are even, feeling good, quote unquote. But I know for me, I don't want to just feel good. Like, I want to feel not even great. I want to feel freaking phenomenal. So I think,
Yes.
again, asking yourself, like, what is required of me? And as we spoke about on my podcast, it's not about being perfect. It's not about freaking being so structured and rigid that you don't enjoy it. I am so big on you can live a very healthy, vibrant life that still includes the acai bowls and, the hot chips and like all the things. But because 80-90% of the time you're making these amazing choices at that higher level of eating really healthy food, moving your body, prioritizing your sleep, all the things, when you get to enjoy these other 10 to 20%, your body trusts, you trust your body to be able to navigate that. And life just gets to be delicious when you just, yeah, choose to go from good to great, commit to the things that's required of you, and just love the process as you navigate through it all.
I love this. And I literally just am listening to you say that. And I was just thinking, this is the perfect prime example that you are an embodiment of your coaching and going from good to great, because Sophie came to me and we worked together for a while with her like health and fitness. I was giving her a training plan, etc. And Sophie came to me like more advanced probably than honestly, probably more than any client I've worked with before. I've had like a few girls probably on a similar wavelength, but a lot of people see a coach and think like I'm too good for that, or I'm already ticking the boxes. So what's the point of working with a coach? And it's literally like you coming to me and us working together is the perfect prime embodiment of like you're not willing to just settle for good. You want great. And that's exactly like what you were doing. So I love that. Where can we find you? How can we chat to you, get in touch with you? Give us your deets.
Yeah, well, I'm primarily on Instagram. So my Instagram is at I am Sophie Kate. If you want to be spammed with sunrise and my dog and me just yapping all about sleep and circadian rhythm and all my beautiful habits and routines, I'll be on there. Send me a message on there. There's a health coaching inquiry form in the link in my bio. But yeah, open to any questions. And thanks for having me. This has been so fun.
That's okay. I will also have everything of Sophie's linked in the show notes below. But thank you so much for coming on, sharing your wisdom. And if you guys want to listen, Sophie's got her own podcast as well. I did an episode on there a week or two ago, and you can jump over there now and binge her podcast. Okay.
Fabulous.
Thank you. Bye bye.